sick as tits. Just kidding. So today we're going to be talking about the fogger. And the fogger is manufactured from a company in China. I believe the name is Yilong. They produce the Zen clone. They also produce the iHybrid clone as well. So there's a few vendors that are carrying the fogger. This is the version 1. There is a version 2. The only thing about this product that is worth using is the drip tip. I mean, there's really only one pro that I can think of with this version 1. It looks halfway decent. It really does look good. I mean, this is supposed to be a Taifon clone. It's such a half-ass attempt at being a Taifon clone for many reasons. Like I said, the only thing worth keeping is the drip tip. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dive down. I'm going to show you guys the parts. Then we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And I'm going to talk about the version 2, which I saved for a couple days, but unfortunately do not have to show you guys. Okay, and I'm going to explain that in a little bit more detail as well, okay? Alright, so these are the 4 parts of the fogger version 1. It's got a top portion, as you can see. It's made out of stainless steel. You got your drip tip catch cup. It's the tank is unfortunately made out of plastic. The version 2 is made out of glass. We'll go over that in a little bit, but this is made out of plastic. You got your stem, which is all-in-one connected. You can't take this apart. It's all-in-one connected. You got your base slash positive negative connection slash cup. You got your cap that screws on to the cup. Okay. The threads on this cap and the cup are decent, but everything else about this, as far as threads, are subpar. When I received it, this thing was a mess. There was metal chips everywhere, machine oil. You could see this part right here that's insulated from the ground. When I first received it, there was a rubber insulator on top of this part that was completely destroyed, unusable. Took that off, and underneath it was this part right here, which is part of the connection. As you can see, it's insulated from the ground wall. This part right here was completely touching the ground wall, and I had to take a hammer and hammer it back that direction to get it off that wall. So that was a major short issue right there. Now on the Taifon, like I said, this is a Taifon clone and a half-assed job at that. With the real thing, this cup is collapsible, meaning you can drop this and it's easier to do your builds because you have the room. Since the cup on this clone is not collapsible, it makes it really difficult to build your coils. I mean, even for someone who's been doing this for a while like myself, it took me 30 minutes just to build my first coil. I built a few more coils, but I kept having short issues with these posts. The airflow, there's where your airflow is. It looks like a large hole right there, but vaping on this thing is like trying to suck a steak through a coffee straw. I mean, it was really one of the tightest straws I've ever had. Awful, just awful. The threads are just subpar at best. Look at those plastic particles on those threads. I noticed that with this threaded area on the tank, it's starting to strip already. There's a stem up here and it's got O-rings. You have your coil built, which I'm not going to do on camera because this thing is pretty much worthless in my opinion. You screw the cap on just like that, and then the cap screws into those O-rings and stem to hold it in place. Just like the Taifon, the wick protrudes out of those holes on each side, and your juice sits in this tank and you vape away. I had so much gurgle issues with this thing, and I used stainless steel mesh, I used silica and stainless steel mesh, I used cotton and stainless steel mesh, I used cotton, I used silica, I used eco wool. I used every single wick that I could think of. It's still gurgled, it's still flooded. Like I said, the air draw was just horrible, completely tight, and this is as it came. When you take this out, when you unscrew the base, look at that. That cap gets stuck on there. And since the tank and the top cap is all one, you can't disassemble it. I had to go in with my tweezers and I had to and I had to pull it out. And finally got it. Just another pain in the ass. So that's basically it, guys, for the Fogger version 1. We're going to go back to the regular screen. I'm going to talk about the Fogger version 2, why I don't have it to compare to this one. But like I said, the only thing worth keeping is this drip tip. I've used this drip tip on many other devices. You've probably seen it in my other reviews, but the rest of this device is garbage. I really did not want to do this review. I mean, I've had this product for about a month now. And so many people were messaging me on Facebook from the Juice Junkies group, and they were like, yeah man, you should check this out. There was a lot of buzz about this because of the way it looks and the Taifon clone. The Taifon's supposedly a really great product. So people were sending me messages. Little did they know I already had it and I was tinkering with it. I really did not want to review this, but since people were talking about it all over the Facebook group and all over Facebook, I feel obligated to let people know this thing is subpar. It's just a really badly engineered device. Now the Fogger 2, a buddy of mine owns the Fogger 2. He's had it for about 3 weeks now. After I bought the Fogger 1, shortly after the Fogger 2 came in stock, and so he picked one up. I saw him out one day using it, and I was like, oh wow, what's that? And he was like, oh, this is the Fogger 2. And I was like, oh, I got the Fogger 1. That thing's a piece of crap. And he was like, dude, I cannot get this thing to run right. I can't wrap a coil to save my life on this thing. It took me like an hour just to do it, blah blah blah. So I said, you know what, let me have a crack at it, and let me see if I can get it going for you. I would get a great coil going, and then it would flood on me. The difference between this device, the version 1 and the version 2, it's got a stainless steel cap, stainless steel base, stainless steel drip tip, but it's got a glass tank instead of the plastic, and it's got an adjustable airflow system at the base. Those are the two main differences right there. And the adjustable airflow is pretty much worthless because it's either you vape it all the way open or you vape it all the way closed, and who the hell is going to vape it all the way closed? There's nothing in between. There's no adjustable airflow. And you know what? I'm realizing that a lot of these China clones, like the Ithaca clones, it's the same type of thing. There's really no in-between adjustable airflow options that you can choose from. Either you're vaping wide open or completely closed. Yeah, the V2 was just as bad. And the Fogger, the V1, cost me $30. I believe that the V2 is about the same, $30. I kind of wish I hadn't have bought this thing and instead bought 2 more Pro Tanks or something else that was new, because this thing is just garbage. I do not recommend the Fogger V1 or V2. I've used both of them. And like I said, I would have had the V2 in this review, but I just did not plan on reviewing it because it's just so bad. But I wanted to let people know, if you're out there and you're looking at this device, scratch that off your list because this thing's a piece of shit. Subpar vape quality, subpar machining. The machining is just garbage in my opinion, especially compared to a lot of these clones that are coming out of China. Yalung, you guys better step your game up or you're going to be kicked to the dust by all these other companies. This is Rip Trippers. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to comment below. And remember, smoking is dead. Vaping is the future. And the future is now.